In the pulsating heart of Chicago, where skyscrapers pierce the autumn sky like silver daggers, Sophia Reyes has reinvented herself as a beacon of hope. Once a shadow in the service industry, haunted by betrayal and the cold grip of homelessness, she now commands the helm of Harrington Enterprises' revolutionary anti-homelessness initiative. Drawing from her vibrant Latin heritage, Sophia infuses the program with cultural depth, partnering with community centers to offer bilingual workshops, job training tailored to immigrant stories, and emergency housing that honors family traditions. Her vision expands nationwide, touching thousands in underserved neighborhoods, from bustling Miami barrios to quiet Midwest towns. The media frenzy ensues. Headlines hail her as a modern-day hero, blending corporate savvy with genuine compassion, transforming Harrington's reputation from a cold conglomerate to a compassionate powerhouse. Investors flock, but not without thorns. Isabella's bitter capital withdrawal has plunged the firm into a financial maelstrom, threatening layoffs and stalled projects. Yet, in this storm, love anchors them. At their sacred Italian bistro in Wicker Park, the dimly lit nook where their worlds first collided, Julian Harrington, the once isolated CEO, orchestrates a moment straight from a silver screen romance. As soft violin strains weave through the air, he kneels, his voice a husky whisper amid clinking glasses. "Sophia, you've shattered my walls, shown me that love isn't a boardroom deal but a shared battle cry. Through crises and triumphs, we'll rebuild, not just empires, but a life of unfiltered truth." The ring, an exquisite emerald-cut diamond echoing her resilient spirit, catches the candlelight as she nods through joyful tears. Laughter bubbles up, mingling with embraces as patrons applaud this fairy tale twist. This pinnacle radiates quintessential American grit, a rags-to-riches saga where vulnerability forges unbreakable bonds. Sophia's odyssey, from overlooked waitress to visionary trailblazer, champions second chances, proving that love, laced with resilience, conquers all. It's the stuff of epic rom-coms, leaving hearts soaring and dreams ignited. The crystal chandeliers of the Velvet Lounge cast a golden haze over Chicago's elite dining scene, where power brokers and socialites gathered on crisp Wednesday evenings. Sophia Reyes moved through the room with effortless poise, her black uniform hugging her frame as she balanced a tray of sparkling wine glasses. At 25, with her dark curls tied back and a warm smile that hid deeper scars, she had mastered the art of invisibility. It was a survival skill honed from years in the service industry, a far cry from the corporate dreams she once chased before betrayal shattered her world. Table 7 shimmered under the soft light, occupied by Margaret Harrington, an elegant septuagenarian whose silver hair gleamed like polished platinum. Her designer gown draped perfectly, but Sophia noticed the subtle tremor in her hands as she reached for her napkin. A faint bruise peeked from beneath her sleeve, purple against pale skin. Sophia's heart skipped a beat. She remembered her abuela's stories of silent suffering in their old neighborhood, where pride often masked pain. "More water, please," Margaret murmured, her voice fragile as antique lace. Sophia approached with a pitcher, her eyes meeting Margaret's. In that instant, something passed between them, an unspoken plea. Margaret's lips formed silent words, "Help me." Sophia's pulse raced. Across the table sat Isabella Harrington, Margaret's daughter-in-law, a stunning blonde in her 30s, adorned with diamonds that sparkled like stars. She scrolled through her phone, boredom etched on her flawless features. Sophia recalled glimpses from society pages. Isabella, the ambitious social climber who had married into the Harrington fortune. "Is everything to your satisfaction, Mrs. Harrington?" Sophia asked, her tone steady despite the storm brewing inside. Isabella glanced up briefly. "Perfect. We won't need anything else. The check, please." Margaret's hand shifted deliberately, knocking over her water glass. Liquid spilled across the pristine tablecloth, drawing gasps from nearby patrons. "Mother," Isabella snapped, her voice slicing through the ambient chatter. "Can you not handle a simple meal without causing a scene?" "I am so sorry," Margaret whispered, her cheeks flushing with what Sophia recognized as rehearsed shame. "Let me clean that up," Sophia said, leaning in close. In that moment, Margaret slipped a folded napkin into her palm. Sophia pocketed it smoothly, her composure drawn from past high-stakes negotiations she preferred to forget. Minutes later, in the staff bathroom, Sophia unfolded the note with trembling fingers. 3 words in elegant script. "She's hurting me." Sophia did not hesitate. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. "I need to report suspected elder abuse at the Velvet Lounge, 2247 North Lincoln Avenue. An older woman, approximately 70 years old, exhibits visible bruising. She passed me a note begging for help. Her companion seems aggressive and controlling." As she spoke, memories flooded back. Her own fall from grace 3 years ago, when her fiancé and business partner Marcus had stolen her client list, smeared her reputation, and left her homeless. She had rebuilt in the shadows, drawing strength from her Latin roots, where family meant everything. Now, she refused to let another woman suffer in silence. 15 minutes ticked by like hours. 2 police officers entered the restaurant, their presence cutting through the refined atmosphere. Sophia watched from the server station as they approached table 7. Isabella's expression shifted from indifference to fury, then to veiled panic. "This is absurd," Isabella hissed, her voice carrying. "My mother-in-law is senile. She's confused." "Ma'am, we need to speak with Mrs. Harrington privately," the female officer stated firmly. Margaret rose slowly, her posture straightening with a glimmer of hope. As she passed Sophia, she mouthed, "Thank you." "You," Isabella snarled, locking eyes with Sophia. "You did this? Do you know who we are? My husband owns half this city." Sophia met her gaze without flinching. "I saw someone in need, that's all." "You'll regret this," Isabella spat, her beauty twisting into something venomous. "What will she regret?" A deep voice boomed from behind Sophia. She turned to see Julian Harrington striding in, his tailored suit rumpled from a late meeting. At 6'2", he commanded the room, his presence drawing every eye. But it was his intense gaze that held Sophia, stormy gray, now fixed on his wife with cold steel. "Julian!" Isabella's tone softened artificially. "Darling, a terrible misunderstanding. The police! Where is my mother?" Julian cut in, his words sharp as a blade. Speaking with officers, Sophia interjected before Isabella could spin her web. She asked for help. Bruises, a note. Julian's attention snapped to Sophia, truly seeing her for the first time, not as staff, but as a person. "Please show me." Sophia handed over the napkin. He read it, his face paling, jaw clenching. "Isabella, how long have you been doing this?" "Darling, she's confused," Isabella pleaded. "You know her memory issues." The silence was deafening. Julian's fury radiated like heat. "I want a divorce. Out of mother's house tonight. Security will ensure it." Isabella's facade cracked. "You can't be serious. Over some delusional older woman's fantasy and a meddling server?" "Her name is Sophia Reyes," Julian said, glancing at her tag. "And thanks to her, you won't touch my mother again." He typed furiously on his phone. "Lawyers will contact you. Your accounts are frozen." Isabella grabbed her bag, storming out amid whispers. Julian stood motionless, then turned to Sophia. "Thank you. You saved her. Anyone would have. Number. Most look away. You didn't." Sophia's manager texted, "Handled professionally. Well done." If only he knew her past, closing multi-million-dollar deals, until Marcus's betrayal left her destitute. But to Julian, she was just the brave server. As the night wound down, Sophia stepped into the October chill at 11:17 p.m., her feet aching. Julian leaned against a sleek Mercedes, tie loosened. "You waited," she said. "I said I would. My mother is safe at my penthouse with a nurse, thanks to you." "I'm glad. Mr. Harrington," Julian. "And it's necessary. You risked everything for a stranger." Sophia hesitated, her wit surfacing. "I don't usually accept late-night thanks from billionaires." His smile broke through. "Then consider this off the books. Hungry? Midnight French toast?" Her stomach growled. "Chicago never sleeps, neither do I." In the diner, over pancakes, Julian probed gently. "How did someone so observant end up here?" Sophia tensed. Good tips. Not what I asked. You handle pressure like a pro. Fine. I was a marketing executive. Trusted the wrong man, Marcus. He stole everything, leaving me homeless. Julian's jaw tightened. He destroyed you. I survived. Rebuilt. You're overqualified. Why not return? Blocked. But tonight, maybe a hero's story changes that. Julian leaned in. Mother's beloved. This will make waves. And Isabella won't touch you, I promise. Why care? Because you saw what I missed. In my world of deals, that's rare. Their connection sparked, but Sophia's phone buzzed with a text from her friend Rosa. Girl, you just took down a socialite? Epic. Sophia laughed, the sound foreign after years of caution. This may be her turning point, emerging from shadows into light. The officers moved with quiet efficiency, their badges glinting under the chandelier's glow as they escorted Margaret to a private corner booth away from prying eyes. Sophia lingered at the server station, her hands clasped tightly to steady the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. The female officer, a no-nonsense woman with a clipboard, spoke softly to Margaret, while her partner scanned the room for any signs of escalation. Minutes later, the officer returned to table 7, her expression grave. We have initial confirmation, she said to Isabella. The bruising appears consistent with repeated gripping force. We will need a complete medical examination, but this warrants an immediate protective order. Isabella's face contorted, her diamonds seeming to flash with her rising anger. This is outrageous. You are taking the word of a confused older woman and some nosy server over me. Do you know who I am? My family built this city. Ma'am, the evidence speaks for itself, the officer replied calmly. We are trained to recognize these patterns. Your mother-in-law has provided a statement. Isabella slammed her phone down, her voice rising in anger. Patterns? She is senile, forgetful. She probably bruised herself bumping into furniture. And that waitress, she pointed accusingly at Sophia, she is the one stirring up trouble, probably after a payout or publicity. Sophia felt a surge of indignation, but held her tongue, remembering her abuela's advice. Strength is in silence when fools rage. The male officer stepped in, his tone firm. We will gather statements from all parties involved. For now, Mrs. Harrington, the senior, will come with us for evaluation. As Margaret was helped to her feet, she cast a grateful glance at Sophia, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. The older woman's frailty tugged at Sophia's heart, reminding her of the vulnerability she had felt during her own darkest days, when she had slept in her car and showered at public gyms. The restaurant buzzed with whispers as patrons craned their necks for a better view. Sophia's phone vibrated again, this time from Rosa, her fellow server and closest friend. Girl, did you bust a high society abuser? You are like a superhero in an apron. Sophia suppressed a smile. Rosa's humor always lightened heavy moments, a reminder of the tight-knit community in their Latin neighborhood, where laughter was armor against hardship. Suddenly, the doors swung open, and Julian Harrington burst in, his face etched with concern. He had been in a late board meeting across town, discussing mergers that could reshape Chicago's tech landscape. But a frantic call from the restaurant manager had pulled him away. What is going on here? He demanded, his voice echoing authority honed from years at the helm of Harrington Enterprises. Isabella whirled toward him, her demeanor shifting to feigned vulnerability. Julian, thank God you are here. There has been a horrible mix-up. The police think I hurt Mother, but she is just confused again. Julian's eyes narrowed as he took in the scene. Officers flanking his mother, Isabella's flushed cheeks, and Sophia standing resolute nearby. Mother, he said, moving to Margaret's side. Are you all right? Margaret nodded weakly, clutching his arm. I am, now, thanks to her, she whispered, nodding toward Sophia. The female officer intervened. Mr. Harrington, we received a report of elder abuse. Your mother has bruises and passed a note indicating harm from her companion. Julian's gaze hardened on Isabella. A note? Please show me. Sophia stepped forward, handing it over once more. As Julian read the words, his world tilted. Memories flooded him, his mother's tales of his late father's temper, the hidden bruises she had endured in silence to protect the family legacy. How could he have missed this in his own home? Isabella had always been ambitious, pushing for control over the estates, but he had chalked it up to her drive. Now, pieces clicked. Her insistence on managing Margaret's schedule, the isolated incidents of forgetfulness that seemed contrived. "Isabella," he said, his voice low and lethal, "explain this." She faltered, her poise cracking. "It is nonsense. She resents me, always has. Ever since I married you, she has seen me as a threat to her precious fortune. I grew up with nothing, scraping by in rundown apartments while she lounged in luxury. I deserve my share." Julian's fury ignited. "Your share? You married into this family, but that does not give you the right to harm my mother. The prenup was clear. Any abuse voids everything." The officers exchanged glances, noting the admission laced in her words. "We will need to take you in for questioning," the female officer said to Isabella. "You cannot do this," Isabella shrieked, drawing more stares. "Julian, tell them who we are." Julian turned away, focusing on Margaret. "Mother, I am so sorry I did not see it sooner. I was blind, buried in work, thinking our marriage was just convenient." Margaret squeezed his hand. "You are here now, son. That is what matters." As Isabella was led away, protesting vehemently, she shot Sophia a venomous glare. "This is not over, Waitress. You have meddled in things you do not understand." Sophia stood tall. "I understand pain when I see it, and I will not look away." Julian watched the exchange, admiration flickering in his eyes. He approached Sophia as the officers finalized paperwork. "You have my eternal gratitude. What is your name?" "Sophia Reyes." "Sophia," he repeated, as if committing it to memory. "You put yourself at risk tonight." Most would have ignored the signs. "In my culture, family is sacred," Sophia replied. "We protect our elders, no matter the cost." Julian nodded, a ghost of a smile appearing. "My mother raised me with similar values, though I have forgotten them lately. Please, let me repay you somehow. Dinner? After your shift?" Sophia hesitated, her mind flashing to Marcus's betrayal. How trust had once cost her everything. But something in Julian's earnest gaze felt different. "I finish at 11. I will wait." As the restaurant returned to its rhythm, Sophia cleared tables, her thoughts swirling. Rosa texted again. "Spill the tea. Is the hot CEO flirting?" Sophia chuckled softly. Maybe. But after Marcus, she had sworn off powerful men. Yet here she was, drawn to Julian's vulnerability beneath the CEO facade. Outside, the night air cooled her flushed skin. Julian waited as promised, leaning against his car. "Ready for that midnight bite? Lead the way." In the cozy diner, over steaming coffee and French toast, conversation flowed. Julian opened up about Isabella's motives. Her impoverished childhood had bred resentment toward Margaret's wealth, leading her to manipulate for control. "I should have seen it," he admitted. "But boardrooms blind you to home truths." Sophia shared snippets of her past, testing the waters. "I know about hidden hurts. My ex, Marcus, destroyed my career out of greed." Julian listened intently. "Greed poisons everything. But you survived. That takes real strength." Their eyes met, a spark igniting between them. Sophia's phone buzzed once more. Rosa again. "Girl, if you don't text me the details, I am disowning you." Sophia smiled, feeling a lightness she had not known in years. This confrontation was likely not just about saving Margaret, but also about reclaiming her own voice. Julian's hands trembled slightly as he clutched the napkin, his eyes scanning the elegant script again and again. "She's hurting me." The words seared into his mind like a brand, unlocking a flood of suppressed suspicions. He had noticed the subtle changes in his mother over the past year. Her increasing withdrawal, the occasional winces she dismissed as age, the way Isabella always hovered, controlling every visit and conversation. But he had been too consumed by board meetings and acquisitions to probe deeper. Now, the truth stared back at him, undeniable. "Isabella," he growled, crumpling the note in his fist. "How long has this been going on? How dare you lay a hand on my mother?" Isabella's eyes widened, her composure fracturing like fine china. "Julian, listen to me. It is all a misunderstanding. She is old and her mind wanders. Remember how she forgot her own birthday last month. This is just another episode." The officers stood by, watchful, as Margaret watched the exchange with quiet dignity. Sophia remained at a distance, but her presence felt like a steady anchor in the chaos. Julian shook his head, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "No more lies. I know about your past, Isabella. The resentment you harbor toward mother because she came from wealth, while you scraped by in those rundown apartments. You think hurting her gives you control, makes up for your childhood. That is twisted. Isabella recoiled as if slapped. You have no idea what it was like, growing up with nothing, while people like her hoarded everything. I earned my place in this family. The marriage was your idea, a merger to strengthen the company. I have given you everything. Julian's laugh was bitter, devoid of humor. The marriage was a business arrangement, yes, to unite Harrington Enterprises with your father's failing tech firm. But I never signed up for this. The prenup has clauses for family harm. You are done. He pulled out his phone and dialed his lawyer with practiced speed. Freeze all joint accounts immediately. Yes, now. And prepare divorce papers. Cite elder abuse as grounds. Isabella's face drained of color. You cannot do this. I will fight you in court. I will take half of everything. Try it, Julian snapped. The evidence is mounting. Medical reports will confirm the bruises, and mother's statement seals it. The female officer stepped forward. Mrs. Harrington, you will need to come with us for further questioning. This could lead to charges. Isabella grabbed her purse, her movements jerky. Fine, but mark my words, Julian, you will regret turning on me. And you, she spat at Sophia, you are nothing but a meddlesome outsider. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. Sophia crossed her arms, her voice calm. Fame? I just did what was right. No one deserves to live in fear, especially not in their own home. As Isabella was escorted out, the restaurant erupted in hushed conversations, the elite patrons gossiping like schoolchildren. Julian turned to his mother, enveloping her in a gentle hug. Mother, I am so sorry. I should have protected you better. Margaret patted his back, her strength returning. You are protecting me now, son. That young woman, Sophia, saw what we all missed. Bless her courage. Julian glanced at Sophia, who was busying herself with clearing the spilled water, though the staff had already handled most of it. He approached her, his expression softening. Sophia Reyes, you have saved my family tonight. Name your price. Anything. Sophia shook her head, wiping her hands on her apron. I do not want money, Mr. Harrington. Just knowing she is safe is enough. Julian studied her, intrigued by her resolve. In my world, everyone wants something. But you acted selflessly. Please, at least let me thank you properly. Join me for coffee after your shift, or dinner if you prefer. Sophia paused, her mind racing. After Marcus's betrayal, she had built high and thick walls, focusing on survival rather than connections. But Julian's sincerity chipped at them. My shift ends at 11. But no promises. Fair enough, I will be outside. As the evening dragged on, Sophia's phone lit up with another text from Rosa. Did you save the Queen Bee of Chicago? Spill, Chica. You are my hero. Sophia replied quickly. Long story. CEO involved. I'll have a late-night chat. Rosa's response was instantaneous. Ooh, the hot one? Get it, girl. But be careful, rich guys come with drama. Sophia smiled, pocketing her phone. Rosa's wit always grounded her, serving as a reminder of the vibrant Latin community that had supported her through her homelessness. Those months of couch surfing and soup kitchens had taught her resilience, but also wariness. At 11, Sophia stepped into the crisp night air, spotting Julian by his Mercedes. He straightened, offering a tentative smile. Still up for that dinner? She nodded, sliding into the passenger seat. The luxury interior felt foreign, an echo of her old corporate life. As they drove, Julian opened up more. Isabella's jealousy stems from her roots. She grew up poor, resenting mother's privilege. I thought marrying her would stabilize the company, but it closed my eyes to her toxicity. Sophia listened, sharing her own scars. My ex, Marcus, was similar to me. Ambitious, manipulative. He stole my clients and spread lies about my stability. Left me with nothing. Julian's grip tightened on the wheel. He sounds like a coward. How did you bounce back? One day at a time. Drawing from my heritage, family values kept me going. At the diner, over fluffy pancakes and hot coffee, the conversation deepened. Julian revealed a twist from his past. The bruises on Margaret reminded him of stories she told about his father. He was controlling and hid his anger well. I vowed never to be like him, but I failed to see it in Isabella. Sophia reached out, touching his hand briefly. You are not him, you are acting now. Their eyes locked, a current passing between them. Julian's phone buzzed. His lawyer confirmed that the accounts were frozen and divorce proceedings had been initiated. Relief washed over him. Thank you for being here. Most in my circles see this as a weakness. Sophia shrugged. In my world, vulnerability is a sign of strength. My abuela taught me that. As they parted ways, Julian walked her to her door. Think about that coffee turning into more. I owe you. Sophia hesitated, then smiled. Maybe. Good night, Julian. Inside her apartment, she collapsed on the couch, her mind whirling. Rosa texted, details. Was he charming? Very, Sophia replied, but complicated. The night had unveiled truths not just about the Harringtons, but about her own readiness to trust again. This revelation may be the start of something unexpected. The Mercedes glided through Chicago's neon-lit streets, the city's pulse thrumming outside the tinted windows. Sophia sat in the passenger seat, the leather warm against her skin, a stark contrast to the cold metal benches of the buses she usually rode. Julian drove with focused ease, his profile sharp in the dashboard glow. She stole glances at him, wondering how a man who commanded boardrooms could seem so approachable now. You mentioned a diner on West Randolph, Sophia said, breaking the silence. Open all night, best French toast in the city. Julian nodded, a small smile tugging at his lips. Mel's Place. Unpretentious, real food. No crystal chandeliers or overpriced wine lists. Sophia raised an eyebrow. Slumming it with the common folk tonight, Mr. CEO. He chuckled, the sound genuine and warm. Consider it a palate cleanser after tonight's drama. Besides, I could use some normalcy. They arrived at the modest spot, its neon sign flickering a welcome. Inside, the air smelled of coffee and syrup, and a few night owls scattered in booths. They chose a corner spot, away from the counter chatter. The waitress, an older woman with a kind face, took their orders. French toast for Sophia, pancakes for Julian. As they waited, Julian leaned forward, his expression one of curiosity. Tell me more about yourself, Sophia. How does someone with your quick thinking end up serving tables? Sophia stirred her coffee, debating how much to reveal. It is a long story. In brief, I was a marketing executive, closing major deals for tech firms. Then my fiancé and partner Marcus betrayed me, stole my clients, spread rumors I was unstable, lost everything, ended up homeless for months. Julian's eyes darkened with empathy. That is brutal. He sounds like a real piece of work. What drove him to do that? Ambition? Greed? We were building our own agency. He saw a shortcut and took it, with my assistant as his new partner, left me blocked in the industry. Julian shook his head. People like that poison everything they touch. I have seen it in business, partners who smile while plotting your downfall. But you rebuilt. That takes grit. Sophia shrugged, though his words warmed her. Survival mode kicks in. Gym showers, soup kitchens, odd jobs. My Latin roots helped, and family values from my abuela. She always said, La familia es todo. Family is everything. Their food arrived, steaming and comforting. Julian poured syrup meticulously, his movements precise. You remind me of Mother in some ways. She took over the company after her father died, faced down skeptics who thought a widow could not run an empire. Sophia cut into her toast. She sounds formidable. How did Isabella fit into that? Julian sighed, setting down his fork. The marriage was strategic. Her father's company was failing, but merging strengthened us, but her resentment toward Mother grew. Isabella came from nothing and saw Mother's life as unearned privilege. It festered into control, then abuse. That is tragic, Sophia said softly. Abuse often stems from pain, but it does not excuse it. Exactly. Julian met her gaze. Tonight, open my eyes. I have been isolated, focused on empires over people. Everyone wants something from me, transactions disguised as relationships. Sophia nodded, understanding all too well. After Marcus, I swore off trust, built walls. But tonight, helping your mother, it felt like breaking free a little. Julian reached across the table, hesitating before pulling back. You are brave, Sophia, not just for calling the police, but for sharing this now. She smiled faintly. Or foolish. Rosa, my friend, would say I am loca for talking to a billionaire at midnight. He laughed. Tell me about Rosa. Co-worker, confidant. She is the one texting me non-stop tonight, demanding details. Keeps things light with her humor. Sounds like a good friend. Julian's phone buzzed, but he ignored it. My turn for vulnerability. The marriage left me lonely. Power insulates you, but it is cold. Sophia felt a pull, an unexpected connection. I know loneliness. Homelessness strips you bare, but it teaches you who you are. Their conversation flowed, touching on lighter topics, favorite Chicago spots and worst movies. Julian confessed a secret love for old rom-coms, making Sophia laugh. You, Mr. Serious, the CEO, watches When Harry Met Sally? Guilty. Reminds me life is not all spreadsheets. As plates cleared, Julian grew serious. Sophia, what if I could help you reclaim your career? Mother's influence could open doors. She tensed. I appreciate it, but I earned my scars. Do not want pity. Not pity, recognition. You have skills we need at Harrington Enterprises. Marketing with integrity. Sophia considered, her heart racing. It is tempting. But after Marcus, I fear traps. Understandable. No pressure. Just think about it. Her phone vibrated insistently. She glanced down, her face paling. A text from an unknown number. Saw your little hero act on the news. Interesting company. We need to talk before you screw up again. M. Marcus. Sophia's hands shook. How did he find me? I changed numbers. Everything. Julian leaned in, concern etched on his face. Your ex? Let me see. She showed him. Julian's jaw clenched. Your visibility threatens him. Probably has alerts on your name. Sophia felt panic rise. He will twist this, making me look like a gold digger or worse. Not on my watch. Julian typed on his phone. My security team can trace this, and lawyers handle harassment. Why help me? We just met. Because you helped my family without asking for anything in return. And I see something in you. Strength, honesty, rare in my world. Sophia met his eyes, the spark intensifying. Careful, Mr. Harrington. That sounds like interest beyond gratitude. Julian smiled. Call it what you will, but yes, I am interested. They lingered over coffee, the diner emptying around them. Sophia shared more about her heritage, including family gatherings with tamales and stories, as well as the resilience that has been passed down through generations. Julian listened, enchanted. You make me want to rediscover that in my life. As he drove her home, the city lights blurred. At her door, he hesitated. Thank you for tonight. It was real. Sophia nodded, her pulse quickening. Good night, Julian. Inside, she leaned against the door, processing. Rosa texted, details, now. Sophia replied, complicated, but good. It could be too good. The late-night meal had unveiled layers, forging a bond amid revelations. But with Marcus lurking, shadows lingered. Still, for the first time in years, hope flickered in Sophia's heart. Sophia selected the cozy Italian restaurant in Wicker Park with care, opting for a spot that balanced authenticity and intimacy without the intimidation of high-end glamour. She arrived early, her navy dress from her old corporate days fitting like a second skin, a reminder of the life she had lost but was slowly reclaiming. Her heart pounded as she spotted Julian through the window, dressed in dark jeans and a cashmere sweater that softened his CEO aura into something approachable. He joined her at the table, his eyes lighting up. You look stunning, he said sincerely, pulling out her chair with natural gallantry. Thank you, Sophia replied, feeling a flush rise to her cheeks. You clean up nicely yourself. No suit tonight? Julian grinned, an occupational hazard of overdressing. But tonight is about normalcy. This place is perfect, by the way. I Googled the reviews, 4.8 stars. Impressive. Sophia laughed. You researched our date? Always prepared, he admitted sheepishly. My assistant thinks I am obsessed. They settled in, ordering appetizers as the conversation eased into comfortable territory. Julian inquired about Sophia's work at the Velvet Lounge, and she shared some light anecdotes, including Rosa's endless teasing about the incident. She keeps calling me the heroine of Chicago, Sophia said, rolling her eyes. But honestly, it was just instinct. Julian nodded thoughtfully. Instinct is born from experience. You mentioned your heritage last night. Tell me more. Sophia opened up about her Latin roots, the vibrant family gatherings filled with music and stories that had sustained her during her time of homelessness. It taught me resilience, she explained. When everything falls apart, you lean on what endures. Julian listened intently, sharing his own fragmented family history. After father died, mother rebuilt the company from grief. I learned ethics from her, but Isabella pushed for ruthless profits. It turns out that her ambition hid deeper issues. Their main courses arrived, pasta steaming with rich aromas, and the talk shifted to loneliness. Success is an excellent insulator, Julian confessed. Everyone negotiates, no one connects. Sophia met his gaze. I get it. After Marcus, I isolated myself, feared betrayal more than solitude. As they shared tiramisu, Julian's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his expression darkening slightly. My lawyer. Divorce papers were filed this morning. Isabella is fighting, claiming mother's accusations are delusions. But we have evidence, medical reports confirming abuse patterns. Sophia's throat tightened. How is Margaret? Shaken but relieved, Julian replied. She asked about you and wants to thank you personally. I would love that, Sophia said, warmth spreading through her. But as she spoke, her own phone vibrated insistently. She checked it, blood draining from her face. A text from Marcus. Saw you in the news with the Harrington drama. Cozying up to billionaires now? We need to talk about your lies before I expose them. D. Sophia? Julian leaned forward, voice laced with concern. What is it? She handed him the phone wordlessly. Julian read it, his jaw tightening. He is harassing you. This is not random. Sophia whispered, he must have alerts on my name, always one step ahead, twisting narratives. Julian set the phone down firmly. Not anymore. Screenshot this. Do not respond. My team can investigate and file for a restraining order if necessary. Why does he care now? Sophia asked, voice trembling. Fear, Julian said. You are visible again, a threat to his facade. If you expose his fraud, his agency crumbles. Fraud? Sophia's eyes widened. He cooked books, hid them from me. I suspected, but had no proof, after he destroyed my access. Julian's expression turned steely. Then we dig. My investigators are discreet, but Sophia, you are not alone in this. Her phone buzzed again. Ignoring me? Typical. Harrington cannot shield you from the truth about your breakdown. I have proof. Sophia's anxiety spiked. He is gaslighting me, making me doubt myself again. Julian covered her hand with his. Look at me. He is a coward clinging to control. We document everything, turn it against him. Sophia searched his face, finding steadiness there. Okay, but if he allies with Isabella? Julian's brow furrowed. Possible. She threatened court battles. If they team up, it gets ugly. But together, we are stronger. The revelation hung heavy, but Julian shifted the mood with a gentle question. Favorite book? Sophia blinked, then smiled. 100 Years of Solitude. Magical realism, like life. Julian nodded. Mine is The Great Gatsby. Warnings about empty pursuits. They delved into safer topics, laughter returning as Sophia teased him about his rom-com confession. You, a sucker for happy endings. Guilty, he admitted, especially ones earned through trials. As dinner wound down, Julian insisted on driving her home. At her door, he lingered. Tonight was real, Sophia, despite the shadows. She nodded, heart fluttering. It was. Thank you for listening. Inside, Sophia paced, texting Rosa. Date was great, but Marcus messaged, threatening. Rosa replied instantly. That creep? Block him. Do not let him ruin this. You deserve good things. Chica. Sophia blocked the number, but unease lingered. Meanwhile, across town, Marcus smirked at his screen, dialing Isabella. We have a common enemy, he said. Let us bury them together. Isabella's voice was cold. Deal. But as Sophia drifted to sleep, Julian's words echoed. You are not alone. For the first time, she believed it might be true. Julian's phone rang late that night, Isabella's name flashing. What do you want? He answered curtly. Her laugh was bitter. Enjoy your little fling with the waitress, but the court is coming. I will drag your family through the mud and expose every secret, including hers. Julian's grip tightened. "Threaten all you want. Evidence is on our side." The call ended with her ominous warning, "Watch your back." He texted Sophia, "Everything okay? Stay strong." Her reply, "Yes. See you soon?" The first date had deepened their bond, but the escalating conflict loomed, testing whether their connection could withstand the storm. The penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan felt like a world suspended in glass and steel, its floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city's twinkling lights like a living painting. Sophia arrived at noon, her nerves buzzing as the elevator whisked her up to Julian's domain. The space was minimalist yet warm, with neutral tones and abstract art that hinted at a refined taste rather than ostentatious wealth. Julian greeted her at the door, his casual shirt and slacks making him seem less like a CEO and more like the man she had connected with over diner pancakes. "Mother is eager to meet you properly," he said with a welcoming smile. "Come in." Margaret Harrington rose from the cream sofa with deliberate grace, her movements careful but her eyes bright with vitality. At 72, she exuded the poise of someone who had navigated boardrooms and ballrooms alike, her silver hair styled in an elegant chignon. "Sophia, dear," she said, extending her hands. "I have been counting the hours." Sophia took them gently, noting the fading bruises on her wrists, like shadows retreating from light. "It is an honor, Mrs. Harrington. How are you feeling?" "Call me Margaret, please," the older woman insisted, her pale blue eyes shimmering. "Grateful, truly. Safe for the first time in months. All because of your bravery." "I just did what felt right," Sophia replied modestly, but Margaret shook her head. "Nonsense. You saw through the facade when others turned away. Sit, let us talk." They settled around a glass table laden with iced tea and light sandwiches, the conversation flowing easily. Margaret inquired about Sophia's background, and Sophia shared glimpses of her Latin heritage as well as the family bonds that had anchored her through hardship. Margaret nodded knowingly. "Family is our foundation. After my husband passed, I ran Harrington Enterprises for 15 years, facing men who dismissed me as a grieving widow. But I proved them wrong, built alliances, and documented every sabotage attempt." Sophia leaned in, intrigued. "How did you handle the betrayals?" By refusing to vanish, Margaret said with quiet steel, "I gathered evidence, trusted my instincts, and focused on results over rumors. Never let the doubters see you break." Julian joined them, carrying a tray of fresh fruit. "Mom has been singing your praises since the incident. She even dug into your background a bit," he admitted with a wink. Sophia tensed slightly. "Background? Nothing invasive," Margaret assured her. "Just enough to know you were a rising star in marketing before life intervened." Sophia sighed, deciding honesty was best. "Yes, I was. Closed million-dollar deals, wore power suits. Then my ex, Marcus, betrayed me, stole clients, spread lies about my mental health. I lost it all and ended up homeless for 3 months. Sleeping in my car, surviving on sheer will." Margaret's expression hardened with empathy. "That man is a coward, destroying a woman's career to mask his inadequacy. I have seen it too often. But you survived, rebuilt with dignity. That is power he can never touch." Julian's jaw clenched. "He will not harass you anymore. My team is already on it." Sophia felt a wave of relief mixed with vulnerability. It isn't very comfortable to admit. People often view homelessness as a failure rather than a circumstance. Margaret reached out, pulling her into a fierce hug. "It is a strength, dear, unbelievable strength. And now, an opportunity. Harrington needs someone like you to lead community outreach and PR, marketing expertise, integrity, and the courage to call out nonsense." Sophia pulled back, surprised. "Margaret, that is generous, but I cannot accept charity." "Not charity," Margaret corrected firmly. "You are qualified. Report to me directly, without any interference should that may arise. Whatever develops between you and Julian. The salary is competitive and the benefits are excellent." Sophia glanced at Julian, who nodded encouragingly. "No pressure, but Mom is a proper person. You deserve this shot." As Sophia pondered, her phone pinged with an email. She opened it, her face paling. "From Marcus. Interesting resurrection story in the news. However, I have emails that prove your instability during our split. Attach them to Harrington if you do not call me. Proof enclosed. Fake screenshots followed, along with doctored messages that made her seem erratic. Julian noticed immediately. What is it? Sophia showed them, her voice shaking. He is fabricating evidence and twisting our old arguments. Margaret's eyes narrowed. Classic manipulation, but we counter with truth. My doctor confirmed the abuse bruises match grip patterns, not accidents. Reports are filed. Julian pulled out his phone. Sending this to my lawyers now. Harassment, forgery. We build a case. Sophia's anxiety ebbed slightly. Why now? He must fear exposure. Perhaps he is aware of Isabella's fight and sees an opportunity for an alliance. Margaret pondered. Possible. Isabella resents me for pulling her from poverty years ago, sponsoring her education. But she twisted gratitude into control, wanting the fortune as payback. If they team up, it is desperate. Sophia straightened, resolve hardening. Then I accepted the job. Not just for me, but to prove bullies do not win. Margaret beamed. That is my girl. Start Monday. Gives time to prepare. Julian squeezed Sophia's hand under the table. Proud of you. As lunch continued, Margaret shared company lore, her sharp wit shining through as she recounted stories of outmaneuvering rivals. Sophia felt a kinship, as if she had found a mentor she never knew she needed. By afternoon's end, as Julian walked her out, he lingered. Mother adores you. And well, I am looking forward to more. Sophia smiled, touching his arm. Me too, but with Marcus and Isabella scheming, stay vigilant. Back home, Sophia texted Rosa. Accepted a job at Harrington. Significant changes. Rosa replied, yes, but that creep Marcus? Kick his butt legally. You got this. As night fell, Marcus met Isabella in a dim bar, plotting over drinks. She needs to disappear again, Isabella said coldly. Marcus nodded. I have dirt. Real or fake, it works. Their alliance formed in shadows, but Sophia, bolstered by new allies, felt ready for the fight. The meeting with Margaret had not just offered a job, but a path to reclaiming her power. Sophia sat in the sunlit penthouse, the weight of Margaret's offer hanging in the air like a promise of redemption. The job at Harrington Enterprises represented more than employment. It was a bridge back to the corporate world she had been exiled from, a chance to wield her marketing skills without the shadow of Marcus's betrayal. Margaret's eyes held steady encouragement, while Julian watched with quiet pride. After a long pause, Sophia nodded firmly. I accept, she said. Not out of pity or convenience, but because I am ready to stop hiding. I will bring my best to the role. Margaret's face lit up with satisfaction. Excellent. We start on Monday. I will have HR send the contract today, independent of any personal ties. Report directly to me, focusing on outreach for underserved communities and infusing the cultural depth you mentioned. Sophia felt a surge of excitement mixed with trepidation. Thank you, Margaret. This means everything. Julian squeezed her hand briefly. You earned it. As they finished lunch, Margaret shared more about the company challenges. Isabella's influence lingers on the board, pushing aggressive tactics. But with you, we pivot to ethical growth, programs that matter. Across town, in a sleek coffee shop shrouded by afternoon shadows, Marcus and Isabella huddled over laptops, their alliance forged in mutual desperation. Marcus leaned in, his voice low. Your soon-to-be ex is protecting her now. But if we leak her past together, it discredits the whole narrative. Isabella's eyes gleamed with malice. Precisely. I will provide you with details on the Harringtons. You handle the details on Sophia. In return, I help bury any fraud claims against your agency. Deal? Marcus nodded. Deal. She thinks she can rise again? We will bury her deeper. By evening, the plot unfolded. Anonymous tips hit the press. Articles surfaced online, painting Sophia as an opportunist who had fabricated the abuse story to worm into the Harrington fortune. Her homelessness was twisted into proof of instability, her rescue of Margaret called a calculated move. Sophia's phone exploded with notifications as she prepared for bed. She scrolled in horror, seeing headlines like "Waitress exploits elder abuse for job at billionaire firm." Her past with Marcus was dredged up, edited to make her seem unreliable. A gold digger latching onto Julian. Julian called immediately, saw the articles. "This is their doing. My PR team is countering, but we need to act fast." Sophia's voice shook. "They leaked everything. My homelessness, the breakdown lies. People will believe it." "Not if we tell the truth first," Julian insisted. "Come over, we strategize with Mother." At the penthouse, Margaret greeted her with a hug. "This is warfare, dear. However, we have ammunition, medical reports, and police statements. And your character shines through." As they planned, Sophia's friend Rosa texted, "Saw the trash articles. They are jealous 'cause you are hotter and brighter. Block the noise, chica. We've got your back at the lounge, too." Sophia smiled faintly, sharing the message. Rosa is right. Humor helps. Julian chuckled. "Glad you have support. Now for the twist. My investigators traced Marcus's IP on those leaks. He coordinated with Isabella via encrypted emails. Proof of conspiracy." Margaret's eyes sharpened. "Perfect. We expose their alliance, turn the tide." The next day, Sophia arrived at Harrington Enterprises for orientation, the marble lobby echoing her footsteps like a new beginning. Colleagues whispered, but one approached warmly. Elena, a Latin marketing coordinator with a bright smile. "Heard about you," she said. "Ignore the gossip. We need fresh voices like yours. Plus, that rescue? Badass." Sophia laughed. "Thanks." "Feels surreal." Elena winked. "We Latinas stick together. If anyone gives you grief, I've got jokes to shut them down." In her new office, Sophia dove into work, outlining outreach programs that blended corporate resources with community needs, such as bilingual job training for immigrants. But midday, more leaks hit. Isabella's statement to tabloids, denying abuse and accusing Sophia of manipulation for romance with Julian. The board buzzed, some questioning the hire. Julian stormed in. "This ends now. We go public with evidence." Sophia nodded, steeling herself. Together. That evening, over a quick dinner meal, Julian and Sophia debriefed. "Isabella promised Marcus legal aid if he ruins us," Julian revealed, "but our lawyers filed harassment suits today." Sophia sighed. "It is escalating, but with you and Margaret, I feel stronger." Julian took her hand. "We are a team now." "And Elena at work?" She added humor today. Julian smiled. "Good. You need allies everywhere." As night deepened, Marcus and Isabella met again, smug over their leaks. "Phase 1 complete," Isabella said. "Now, deeper dirt." Marcus grinned. "I have forged the documents ready." However, unknown to them, Julian's team had hacked into the system, gathering evidence. Sophia slept fitfully, dreaming of boardrooms and breakthroughs. The acceptance had ignited a war, but unity fortified her resolve. By the end of the week, the conspiracy had begun to crack slightly. A leaked email from Marcus to Isabella surfaced anonymously, courtesy of Julian's investigators, hinting at their plot. The media shifted, questioning their motives. Sophia's first project pitch to the board earned applause, Elena cheering loudest. "They are jealous no more," she whispered. Sophia laughed. "Thanks to friends like you." Margaret called a family dinner to toast Sophia's start. "You are transforming us already." Julian pulled Sophia aside later. "This job suits you. And us? It is real." Sophia nodded. Despite the storm, yes, the alliance between enemies loomed, but Sophia's acceptance marked her reclaiming power, bolstered by new bonds. The storm broke with the subtlety of a thunderclap, articles exploding across Chicago's media landscape like shrapnel from a hidden bomb. Sophia woke to her phone buzzing relentlessly, notifications piling up from news alerts and social media tags. She scrolled in disbelief, her stomach twisting as headlines screamed accusations. Harrington airs new hire, opportunistic waitress exploits elder abuse for romance and riches. Her homelessness was sensationalized as evidence of desperation, photos from old society pages doctored to show her as unstable, and whispers of a calculated seduction of Julian painted her as a modern-day schemer. Marcus and Isabella's handiwork was evident. their leaks coordinated to maximum damage. At Harrington Enterprises, the lobby hummed with tension as Sophia arrived for her second day. Whispers followed her like shadows, colleagues glancing sideways. Elena caught her in the elevator, her expression fierce. "Saw the trash online," she said. "Do not let it get to you. Half the office thinks it is jealousy from that ex-wife. We Latinas know how to spot a smear campaign." Sophia forced a smile. "Thanks, Elena, but it hurts, seeing my past twisted like this." Elena squeezed her arm. "Then, fight back with facts. And if anyone here mouths off, I have sarcasm ready." They rode up in solidarity, Elena's humor a brief shield against the chaos. In her office, Sophia fielded calls from reporters, her inbox flooded with interview requests. Julian burst in mid-morning, his face thunderous. "This is war," he declared, slamming a tablet down showing the latest piece. Isabella's lawyer released a statement denying everything, claiming mother's senility and your involvement as a setup to void the prenup. And Marcus fed them your history, edited to fit their narrative. Sophia sank into her chair, tears pricking her eyes. "They are winning. Public opinion will turn, and the board will question my hire. Everything I rebuilt, gone again." Julian knelt beside her, his voice steady. "Not if we control the story. We hold a press conference today. Lay it all out. The note, bruises, police reports. Your truth about survival, not as weakness, but strength." Sophia shook her head. "Exposing my homelessness publicly? They will pity or judge me. Better that than let them define you," Julian countered. "Mother agrees, she is preparing her statement." "And the financial hit," he added grimly. Isabella withdrew her shares' influence, triggering a dip in the stock. "Layoffs loom if we do not stabilize." Margaret joined via video call, her image crisp on the screen. "Listen, dear, this is not just about defense. It is an opportunity. By going public, we humanize the company and demonstrate ethics over greed. Your programs can shine as proof." Sophia waited, her mind flashing to Rosa's texts. "Fight, chica. Do not let creeps win." Elena popped in with coffee. "Board meeting in 10. Rumors flying, but I shut down a doubter with, if she can spot abuse in a fancy restaurant, imagine what she will do for our PR." Sophia laughed, despite herself. "Okay, press conference it is. Let us end this." The boardroom crackled with urgency as executives gathered. Whispers ceased when Margaret's voice boomed from the speaker. "This smear is coordinated sabotage. We respond with transparency. Sophia, share your vision." Heart-pounding, Sophia stood. "My outreach will target homelessness with cultural sensitivity, bilingual support, and partnerships in Latin communities. It boosts our image and does good." Murmurs of approval rippled, one director nodding. Bold and timely given the news. Julian sealed it. Press conference at 5. We turn crisis into triumph. Preparation consumed the afternoon. Lawyers vetted the statements, and PR crafted the responses. Sophia practiced her lines, voice steadying with each run. Julian pulled her aside. "You are incredible. This scares me too. A stock plummet means making hard choices, but together, unstoppable." Sophia touched his cheek. "Your support means everything." Rosa called during a break. "Girl, press conference? Epic. Wear that power dress. Show them who's boss." Sophia chuckled. "Will do. Thanks for the pep talk." As 5 approached, the conference room filled with cameras and reporters. Sophia stood flanked by Julian and Margaret, who had arrived in person, her presence commanding. Flashes popped as Julian opened. "We address baseless allegations head-on. My mother's abuse is documented, not delusion. Isabella's denials ignore evidence." Margaret spoke next, voice firm. "I endured isolation and harm, but Sophia Reyes saved me with one act of courage. She is no opportunist, she is a hero." Sophia stepped to the mic, pulse racing. 3 years ago, betrayal left me homeless. I survived gyms for showers, soup kitchens for meals, but I rebuilt, and when I saw abuse, I acted. These leaks twist my pain into weapons, but I refuse shame. My role at Harrington is earned through qualifications, not manipulation. Questions flew fast. "Is your relationship with Julian influencing this?" Sophia met the reporter's eyes. Our connection grew from gratitude, but my job stands on merit. Another probed. Financial crisis? Julian fielded. Temporary dip from sabotage. Our ethical pivot, led by Sophia, will strengthen us. Backstage after, exhaustion hit, but triumph gleamed in Margaret's eyes. You were magnificent. Stocks are already stabilizing, and within the media, the trend is positive. Julian hugged Sophia. Proud does not cover it. But Isabella texted threats, vowing more dirt. Sophia's resolve hardened. Let her. We have proof of their conspiracy. Elena messaged, watched live. You slayed. Office buzzing support. That night, over a quiet dinner, Julian revealed more. Investigators have emails linking Marcus and Isabella. Fraud charges are pending for him. Abuse charges for her. Sophia exhaled. Is it ending? Almost, but the crisis forged us. Sophia nodded, leaning into him, from public nightmare to united front. The ordeal tested limits, but emerging bonds promised resilience ahead. The conference room at Harrington Enterprises buzzed with anticipation, cameras flashing like distant lightning as reporters crammed into rows of folding chairs. Sophia stood backstage, her navy suit tailored to perfection, heart hammering against her ribs as she peered through the curtain at the sea of faces. Julian adjusted his tie beside her, his presence a steady anchor, while Margaret waited in the wings, her elegant poise masking the fragility of recent weeks. The PR team had orchestrated everything meticulously, from the podium setup to the projected slides of evidence. But the weight of exposure pressed on Sophia like an invisible force. This was it, the moment to reclaim her narrative or watch it shatter publicly. Julian squeezed her hand. You got this. Truth cuts through lies. She nodded, drawing strength from his gray eyes, and stepped out as the room hushed. Julian opened, his voice commanding the space. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Today, we address vicious smears against my family and Sophia Reyes. These are not random attacks but a coordinated effort to discredit elder abuse reports and Sophia's integrity. Evidence will speak for itself. He gestured to the screen, where police body cam footage played, showing Margaret's bruises and her whispered plea. Reporters murmured, notebooks scribbling furiously. Then came the bombshell, a recorded call from Isabella, obtained legally during divorce proceedings, her voice dripping venom. You think you can take everything from me? I earned this. Your mother resents me for my roots, but I control her now. Gasps rippled through the crowd, phones capturing every word. Margaret stepped forward next, her posture regal despite the cane she leaned on lightly. I endured months of isolation, subtle threats, and physical harm from my daughter-in-law. Bruises documented by doctors match grip injuries, not accidents as claimed. But Sophia Reyes, a stranger then, saw my silent cry for help and acted without hesitation. She is no opportunist, she is compassionate, brave. The room erupted in questions, but Margaret held firm. This is not senility, it is survival. I stand here because of her. Sophia felt tears prick her eyes, Margaret's words a balm on old wounds. The older woman's testimony humanized the scandal, shifting murmurs to nods of empathy. Now, Sophia's turn. She approached the podium, spotlights hot on her skin, microphones thrusting forward like eager sentinels. Deep breath. 3 years ago, professional betrayal by my ex-partner Marcus left me homeless. I slept in my car, showered at gyms, and ate at shelters. It wasn't very comfortable, but I survived through determination and my Latin heritage's emphasis on resilience. When I witnessed Margaret's abuse at the Velvet Lounge, I could not ignore it. I called 911 and passed the note. These leaks twist my pain into ammunition, but I refuse to hide from it. My position at Harrington is based on marketing expertise and proven integrity, not manipulation. A reporter interjected, and your relationship with Julian? Sophia met the gaze squarely. It grew organically from gratitude, but my work stands alone. Another pressed. Financial motives? Number. I acted from empathy, knowing the sting of invisibility. Julian rejoined her, unveiling more. Medical experts confirm the injuries align with abuse. And this, he said, projecting emails between Isabella and Marcus. Proof of conspiracy, forged documents, leaked smears. We have filed charges for harassment, fraud, and defamation. The room exploded, reporters shouting over each other. Is this retaliation for the divorce? Julian nodded. Precisely. Isabella seeks to avoid accountability, while Marcus aims to silence Sophia's potential exposure of his agency's fraud. But truth prevails. Questions flew, stock impacts. Temporary, Julian assured. Our ethical shift, led by Sophia's outreach, will rebuild stronger. Public support. We trust facts resonate. As the conference drew to a close, applause broke out sporadically, a palpable shift in the air. Backstage, Margaret embraced Sophia. You were radiant, dear. The tide turns now. Julian pulled her close. Magnificent. Social media is exploding positively. Sophia exhaled shakily. Terrified, but empowered. Elena texted, watched live. You owned that room. Office cheering. Rosa chimed in. Badass level 100. Proud, Chica. Hours later, the narrative flipped. Hashtags like #Justice for Margaret and #SophiaStrong trended, with advocacy groups praising her candor and strength. Isabella's lawyer issued a retraction. Mrs. Harrington seeks a quiet settlement, acknowledging family strains, no more denials. Marcus went silent, his agency hemorrhaging clients amid whispers of fraud. At the penthouse that evening, Sophia collapsed on the sofa, emotionally drained but buoyant. You turned victim to victor, Julian said softly, sitting beside her. Margaret nodded from her chair. Board reports approval up by 15%. Honesty sells. Over celebratory tea, they debriefed. Isabella conceded because the recording doomed her, Julian explained. Prenup voids her claims. And Marcus? Lawsuit incoming. Sophia smiled faintly. No revenge thrill, just closure. From this, my programs expand. Bilingual initiatives, community partnerships. Elena offered ideas today, infused with cultural flair. Margaret beamed. That is the spirit. Transform pain into purpose. As night deepened, Julian drove Sophia home, the city lights a glittering backdrop. Penny for your thoughts, he murmured. Grateful, she replied. For you, Margaret, this chance. He parked, walking her to the door. From crisis to connection. She leaned in, their kiss gentle, a promise amid turmoil. Good night, Julian. Inside, Sophia touched her lips, hope blooming. The press conference had not just defended, it liberated. The next day, stocks rebounded, and the media lauded Harrington's transparency. Sophia's office buzzed with support, Elena organizing a team lunch. You inspired us, she said. From now on, we fight ethical battles together. Sophia nodded, diving into work, her vision crystallizing. From dramatic revelation to triumphant stand, the crisis forged unbreakable resolve. In the vibrant pulse of Chicago's evolving skyline, 6 months had woven a tapestry of transformation for Sophia Reyes, turning the ashes of her past into a foundation of unyielding strength. No longer the shadowy waitress navigating the harsh edges of survival, she now stood as a pivotal force at Harrington Enterprises, her role in community outreach expanding like roots delving deep into fertile soil. Infusing her Latin heritage into every initiative, Sophia had launched bilingual programs that resonated across underserved neighborhoods, offering job training workshops in Spanish and English, cultural sensitivity seminars drawing from her abuela's timeless wisdom, and emergency housing partnerships that honored family structures in immigrant communities. Her efforts stretched from local shelters in Pilsen to nationwide collaborations, impacting thousands and garnering acclaim from advocacy groups who hailed her as a bridge between corporate power and grassroots needs. Headlines shifted from scandal to success, with stories like, From Homeless to Hero, Sophia Reyes redefines corporate compassion, boosting the company's public image and drawing new investors eager for ethical returns. Yet triumph came, laced with lingering shadows, as Harrington Enterprises grappled with the financial aftershocks of Isabella's vengeful withdrawal. Stocks had dipped sharply in the wake of the scandal, forcing tough decisions on budgets and staff, with whispers of potential layoffs echoing through the halls. Sophia felt the pressure acutely in board meetings, where her programs faced scrutiny amid the crunch. "We need results, not just feel-good stories," one director had pressed. Still, Sophia countered with data. "Our outreach has helped 847 individuals secure stable jobs and homes, yielding a 43% return on investment in perception." Margaret, now a guiding mentor, backed her fiercely. "Ethics and profit align here. Expand her department, double the budget." The board relented, but the crisis tested Sophia's resolve, reminding her of those homeless nights when perseverance was her only currency. Julian navigated the turmoil with steely determination, his leadership steadying the ship as he froze out Isabella's lingering allies on the board. Their divorce was finalized quietly, with Isabella retreating to Los Angeles under a cloud of tarnished reputation, her real estate ventures far from Chicago's unforgiving social circles. Marcus fared worse. His agency dissolved amid lawsuits for financial misconduct, and as clients fled after Sophia's public testimony exposed his fraud. "Karma," Julian had mused over coffee one morning, but Sophia shook her head. "Not satisfaction, just closure. I wish him irrelevance, not ruin." Their relationship had deepened in these months, evolving from grateful sparks to a profound partnership. Shared dinners in hidden gems like the Italian bistro becoming rituals of honest connection. One evening, as autumn leaves swirled outside the Wicker Park restaurant where they had shared their first date memories, Julian orchestrated a moment etched in quiet magic. The dimly lit space hummed with a familiar warmth, as the aromas of pasta mingled with the soft strains of a violin from a corner musician. Sophia arrived in a simple yet elegant dress, her confidence radiating from 6 months of reclaimed purpose. Julian waited at their corner table, a bouquet of wildflowers nodding beside him, his eyes holding a vulnerability that quickened her pulse. "You look radiant," he said, standing to pull out her chair. "These months have been extraordinary because of you." Sophia smiled, settling in. "And you. From chaos to this." They ordered appetizers, conversation flowing over shared tiramisu traditions and lighter tales, like Elena's office pranks that infused humor into tense days. As dessert arrived, Julian grew uncharacteristically fidgety, his fingers drumming lightly on the tablecloth. "Sophia, there is something I need to ask," he began, his voice thick with emotion. "These 6 months transformed me. You saved Mother, challenging me to prioritize heart over empire, and showed me love as a partnership, not a transaction. Honest, brave, real." He reached into his pocket, revealing a velvet box that caught the candlelight. Sophia's breath caught as he opened it, an emerald-cut diamond sparkling on platinum, its facets echoing her resilient spirit. "Will you marry me?" Tears welled in her eyes, the restaurant fading around them. "Julian," she whispered, "yes, absolutely yes." He slipped the ring on her finger, their kiss sealing the promise amid spontaneous applause from nearby diners, the moment pure and unscripted. Joy overflowed as they lingered, Sophia admiring the ring's glow. "It is perfect, like us, flawed but strong." Julian nodded. "We weathered storms together, the financial dip testing us, but your vision pulled us through. Programs expanding to 12 cities, helping over 3,000. You proved compassion profits." Sophia leaned in, "And you showed me that trust is possible again. No more hiding." They discussed dreams, a small wedding by the lake, incorporating Latin traditions like a family unity ceremony, and future travels to trace her heritage roots. Julian confessed to nerves, terrified, but in a good way, knowing what we have is worth everything. Outside, Chicago's lights glittered with possibility, the crisis a distant echo. Isabella's exile felt final, her attempts at sabotage were crumbling under the weight of the law. Marcus faded into obscurity, his consultations for small firms shadowed by unethical whispers. Margaret thrived in advocacy, speaking out on elder abuse prevention, and her bond with Sophia was akin to that of a chosen daughter. At work, Elena organized a surprise engagement lunch, the team toasting with cheers and jokes. "You snagged the boss? Epic," Elena quipped. "But seriously, you inspire us all." That night, in the penthouse, Sophia and Julian celebrated privately, toasting with wine on the balcony. "Our daughter will hear quite the story," Sophia mused, hand on her subtle bump. Julian's eyes widened. "Daughter? Confirmed today." He swept her into a spin, laughter echoing. "A girl, to learn courage from her mother, resilience from us both." They envisioned her future, steeped in love and purpose, programs growing globally as proof that business and compassion coexist. 6 months had forged triumph from trial. The proposal was not just a question, but a culmination of growth and development. Sophia, once broken, now bloomed, her Latin spirit infusing every victory. As they embraced under stars, hope anchored them, ready for whatever came next. The botanical garden overlooking Lake Michigan bloomed in a riot of spring colors, petals unfurling like promises under a gentle sun, as Sophia and Julian exchanged vows in a ceremony intimate as a whispered secret. Guests were few, close friends and colleagues mingling, their faces alight with joy after months of shared trials. Margaret officiated, her voice resonant with emotion, as she stood before them in a flowing gown. The scars of her ordeal faded, but her spirit unbreakable. "Dearly beloved," she began, "we gather not just to unite two souls, but to celebrate resilience born from darkness." Sophia wore an ivory dress, simple in its elegance, lace tracing her Latin heritage with subtle motifs of family unity. At the same time, Julian's tailored suit echoed quiet strength, his gray eyes locked on her with unwavering devotion. "I promise to see you," Julian vowed, his words steady despite the tremor in his hands. "Not for power or status, but for the brilliant, brave woman who reshaped my world. From the moment you saved Mother, you taught me that love is a partnership and vulnerability is a victory." Sophia's tears shimmered as she replied, her voice clear and steady. "I promise to trust you, even when shadows whisper doubt. From betrayal's ruins to this light, I choose us, courage over fear, every day." They exchanged rings, platinum bands etched with subtle engravings of their journey, from a napkin plea to this sacred pledge. Margaret pronounced them wed, her eyes misty. "By the power vested in me, I declare you husband and wife. Kiss and let love lead." The reception unfolded under string lights in the garden's pavilion, laughter mingling with soft music, as toasts flowed like wine. Margaret raised her glass first, her pale blue eyes sparkling with delight. "6 months ago, my son was ensnared in emptiness. I in silence, Sophia in survival's grip. Tonight, we thrive, proof that one act of bravery ripples into eternity. To Sophia and Julian, may your love inspire bolder hearts." Elena, vibrant in a colorful dress, added a touch of humor next. "As the office Latina squad rep, I say Sophia slayed from day one. Julian, you lucked out. Here is to more wins, fewer creeps." Rosa, beaming from the front row, clapped loudest, her toast a blend of wit and warmth. "Chica, from serving tables to stealing hearts, you did it. Julian, treat her right or face the squad." Among the guests were mentors from Sophia's days at the homeless shelter, their pride evident as they mingled with Harrington executives, a testament to bridged worlds. 3 women Sophia had guided through the outreach program attended. Their stories of transition from the streets to stability mirrored her own, now woven into the company's fabric. Subplots resolved in quiet corners. A call from Isabella earlier that week, her voice broken over the line. "I am sorry," she had said. "The abuse born from my pain, but inexcusable." Margaret forgave with grace, though boundaries held firm. Marcus's absence loomed as closure, his lawsuit settled out of court, agency shuttered, a shadow banished. As they danced under twinkling lights, Sophia rested her head on Julian's chest, the rhythm of his heart syncing with hers. "Happy?" he murmured. "Terrified, but the good kind," she admitted. "Having something precious to lose makes it all the more real." He pulled back, eyes intense. "You will never lose me. Promise honesty, communication, and fight for us always." She nodded. "Deal." Margaret watched from afar, her satisfaction deepening her smile, as her advocacy work now gained national attention, with speeches on elder abuse drawing crowds inspired by their story. The honeymoon beckoned, A quiet escape to coastal retreats tracing Sofia's heritage, but final challenges lingered like fading echoes. Back at work after the wedding, Sofia presented the Q4 results in the executive boardroom, her slight pregnancy bump a subtle glow under her suit. Our expansions helped 3,000 people transition to stability, she concluded, with a 43% ROI. Applause echoed, Margaret beaming. The board wants more, a double budget and a triple staff. You proved the ethical profit. Sofia squeezed Margaret's hand. Learn from the best. The evening found them at the Italian bistro, their sacred spot, where Julian shared the news. Isabella's settlement is signed, with a no-contact clause in place. David's echoes, Marcus corrected in memory. Agency gone, lawsuits burying him. Karma real. Sofia felt no glee, just forward. As tiramisu arrived, Julian fidgeted. Sofia, one more thing. He knelt, but she laughed. Already married, he grinned. Not that. He placed a hand on her belly. Our daughter learns from a visionary mother. Doctor confirmed? Joy lit his face. Yes. Spinning her gently, he whispered, a girl, brave like you. The penthouse balcony later offered a view of Chicago's panorama, Sofia leaning into Julian. Life shifted so fast. From tables to this. Regrets? He asked softly. None. Wish I had fought Marcus sooner, but those years built me. He kissed her temple. Timing perfect. Our girl hears a hell of a tale. From public crisis to private bliss, the wedding sealed the subplots. As challenges were resolved in the quiet victory of love, Isabella faded in LA, reputation scarred. Marcus consulted shadows, an unethical past haunting. Margaret advocated fiercely, and elder abuse awareness soared. Julian and Sofia expanded globally, compassion and business entwined. Sophia Walsh Harrington, survivor to executive, embodied second chances, trust after betrayal, saving not just others, but herself. Sophia stood on the penthouse balcony, the Chicago skyline stretching before her like a canvas of endless possibilities, her hand resting gently on the subtle curve of her belly. 6 months of marriage had deepened the bond she shared with Julian, transforming their union from a whirlwind of trials into a steady rhythm of shared dreams and quiet joys. The baby, their daughter, kicked softly, as if echoing the city's vibrant energy, a reminder that life moved forward with unrelenting grace. Work at Harrington Enterprises had become her canvas for change, her role as VP of Social Impact and Public Relations elevating her initiatives to global heights. Programs now spanned continents, partnering with organizations in Latin America to provide culturally tailored support for homeless families, blending bilingual education with sustainable job placement that honored heritage and fostered self-sufficiency. Over 3,000 lives touched in Chicago alone had expanded to tens of thousands worldwide, proving that compassion could indeed drive profit. With company stocks soaring 20% in the wake of ethical reforms. Margaret had retired with quiet fanfare, her advocacy for elder abuse prevention now a national movement. Her speeches drawing crowds who hung on every word of her survival story. She handed the reins to Sofia during a board meeting filled with applause, her pale blue eyes shimmering with pride. You did not just join this family, dear. You revitalized it, Margaret had said, squeezing Sofia's hand. The board's decision to expand her department came swiftly, tripling the staff and doubling the budget to launch innovative apps connecting shelters with real-time resources. Infused with AI for personalized aid. Elena, now Sofia's right hand, brought her infectious energy to every project, weaving cultural threads from their Latin roots into strategies that resonated deeply. We are changing the game, Elena often quipped during late-night brainstorming sessions, her humor a constant light amid the demands. Julian balanced CEO duties with newfound purpose, stripping away 70% of outdated operations to focus on impactful tech like medical AI for underserved clinics and logistics, reducing carbon footprints. The financial crisis that once threatened layoffs had become a turning point, with Sofia's programs generating unprecedented press and partnerships that stabilized the firm. Evenings found them in the Italian bistro, their ritual spot, where Julian shared board victories over tiramisu. Victoria's shadow, Isabella in memory, had faded entirely, her Los Angeles exile marked by failed ventures and a reputation in tatters. While Marcus consulted in obscurity, his unethical past a perpetual barrier to recovery. Justice is served not through vengeance, but through perseverance, as Margaret often reminded them during family dinners. The pregnancy announcement had brought waves of joy, Margaret dabbing tears as she officiated their vow renewal in a small garden ceremony, reaffirming promises amid blooming flowers. "Our granddaughter will know her mother's strength," Margaret declared, her voice strong and steady. Sophia felt the weight of her legacy, her body adapting to the changes with a mix of wonder and fatigue. Julian was ever attentive, offering foot rubs and late-night talks about names inspired by Latin heroines. Work adapted too, with flexible hours allowing her to mentor young women in the programs, sharing stories of survival that inspired tears and determination. One mentee, a young Latina fresh from shelters, mirrored Sophia's fire. "You showed me it is possible," she said during a session, hugging Sophia tightly. Challenges lingered like faint echoes, a minor board dissent over expansion costs quickly quelled by data proving long-term gains. Julian faced a fleeting lawsuit from Isabella's remnants, dismissed swiftly with ironclad evidence from their conspiracy files. Through it all, their marriage thrived on communication, weekly dates ensuring no drift amid busyness. From the balcony, Sophia watched Julian approach, his arms wrapping around her from behind. "Penny for your thoughts," he murmured, kissing her neck. "Just marveling at this life," she replied, "from invisible to indispensable." He chuckled softly, "You always were." Our daughter learns that courage matters more than circumstance. Family gatherings grew richer, with Margaret hosting and sharing tales of her advocacy tours, her health robust after months of recovery. Rosa and Elena often joined, their laughter filling the penthouse with warmth, blending old worlds with new. Sophia's programs earned awards and a national grant, amplifying their reach to remote areas where mobile units delivered aid infused with cultural respect. Julian surprised her one weekend with tickets to trace her roots in Latin America, a honeymoon redux blending relaxation with site visits to partner shelters. There, amid vibrant markets and family stories, Sophia felt complete, her past a chapter closed, with bright future pages ahead. As the baby grew, so did their vision. Harrington's global arm launched eco-friendly housing models, with Sophia at the helm, despite maternity leave plans. Margaret's final gift was a nursery designed with Latin motifs, a cradle carved with symbols of strength. "You reclaimed your life, now pass it on," she told Sophia during a quiet afternoon. Julian's evenings became tender as he read to the bump in Spanish, his accent improving under Sophia's gentle coaching. Challenges, such as a brief media flare-up over old leaks, were met with unity. Their PR team, led by Elena's sharp wit, turned it into a positive spotlight on resilience. One starry night, as Chicago glittered below, Sophia turned to Julian. "Regrets?" "None," he said firmly. "From that fateful night to this, every trial led here." She nodded, hand on her belly. "Our girl arrives in a world we shaped, proof that second chances exist." Happiness wrapped them like a warm blanket, future unfolding with promise. Isabella's real estate business floundered in obscurity, while Marcus's consultations dwindled under scrutiny of ethical concerns. Margaret's speeches inspired laws against elder abuse, her legacy enduring. Julian and Sophia's empire grew, compassion at its core. Sophia embodying transformation from survivor to leader, love's light guiding every step.